Going live. Hey, hey, what do you say? Happy Wednesday. Thank you all for being here tonight. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but here you are, right here with me. And I thank you for it. It's me, Mad Max, the host of the Sofa King variety show, the Sofa King Great variety show in the Russian tea room. Ah, man, it's been a wild time in general. Before I get off in the weeds about various subjects and topics and start my filibustering, let me give a couple shout outs. Clip this. Shout out to CE Tools. Clip this. A shout out to 89 Tools. Guys are doing great. If you haven't had a chance to look and check out any of the content, any of the channel, give them a chance, give them a shot. Very, very, very good stuff. Very good stuff. Clearly a lot better than mine because they've got thousands of subscribers. And we're trying to get there to 500, just, creeping slowly. But you know what? We get there, we don't get there, it really doesn't matter because I came to the realization that ultimately all I'm doing is chronicling what I'm doing in my life, which is not a whole lot right now, based on circumstances out of my control, extenuating circumstances out of my control. This whole disability, unable to work thing, yada, yada, yada. Real quick, also, under Title 17 USC Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, teaching, scholarship, and whatever other bullshit. But everything goes in the balance in favor of fair use. So no copyright infringement. Let's get a different picture. Yeah, I went with the Michael Jackson Thriller theme. You guys like that? Does that look good? Yeah, I like it too. Wife went to the grocery store the other day, spent, I think it was like $300-400, came out with two of these, bag of Reese's, and that's it. Prices are getting high in these grocery stores. Doesn't seem like we're getting a lot for our hard-earned dollar anymore. No shit. Check it out. I want to realize it. How come, maybe somebody can answer this for me. Flip this. How come the price of crude oil is less than $100 a barrel, but the price of fuel continues to rise? Shouldn't it be the opposite? Doesn't the petrodollar still exist, or do we get rid of that too, along with the gold standard and everything else that we've put our hands on, touched, and effectively destroyed? Interesting. Yeah, it's you know what? I don't go out a whole lot. And when I say go out, I don't mean like go out to the bars, the clubs, casinos, nothing like that. I just don't go out a whole lot. If I need to go to the doctor, whatever, go to the doctor, and whatever else kind of shit I need. But I don't actively, aside from needing to be able to be as active as I possibly can during the course of my day so I don't, fucking die before I get a verdict from the courts on my shit. As painful as it is, I gotta walk, I gotta stand, I gotta make sure I'm clean, I gotta use the restroom, I need help with all these things, unfortunately. But people, what you need to understand is that no matter how bad I might have it or you think you might have it, I didn't plan on being disabled, but it happened. And no matter how bad it is, somebody else out there got it worse. That's not out there to make you feel any better about your situation because if you don't have any food to put in your stomach, refrigerator's empty, cupboards empty, pantry empty. What do you do? I've heard, I've been trying not to, stay out of it in way of voicing my opinion of what needs to go down and what should be done. But, you know, every time somebody has a good idea, whether it's me or somebody else, generally what happens is it either gets ignored or it simply just doesn't happen.
You got the right to remain silent, so shut the fuck up, okay? You got the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, we will provide you with the dumbest fucking lawyer on earth. If you get Johnny Cochran, I'll kill you.
Yeah, there you go. That's kind of the way life feels right now. You have the right to remain silent, or you could voice your opinion, and it won't do any good, more than likely, but it might make you feel a little bit better, which is why I'm here now. And that kind of, brings me back to what I was saying earlier. I'm not here because I want to be famous. I'm not here because I'm trying to be rich, popular. I don't care about any of that shit. None of that's important to me. I don't care about any of that. I would be working right now. And what little work that I can do due to mobility and disability, I do, but at the same time, I didn't get aged out of the industry. I got injured out of the industry. And the market for a disabled master technician, it's not as great as you would think. Not gonna lie. It's not as great as you would think. But the problem is, and it's not just automotive or industrial or small engine or class 8 or larger. It's not that. It's the fact that, and I'm sure you've heard these numbers already, but you have roughly, we'll just round up, 80,000 skilled labor jobs, automotive wise, okay? That every year, whether it be to retirement, whether it be to somebody moved on to a different profession, whatever the case may be, 80,000 is the number of mechanics, technicians, whatever you want to address them as, that we lose annually. And it's been like that for a long time. And when I say a long time, I don't mean a couple of years. I mean, it's been going like this now for well over a decade. I think right now, I don't want to give any misinformation. You can find that on your own. But it's been severe. And if you need any work on your car, you've probably experienced this already. The waits are ridiculous. Some shops are a couple weeks behind. They'll tell you a million different reasons as to why. But the reason is they don't have any help. There's not enough people to turn a wrench. And that's not something that you're going to be able to replace with a machine. Now, back to that 80,000 number. We lose that, all right, every year. And incoming, fresh out of school, whatever, into the industry, we get roughly 37,000. But we'll round up, we'll call it 40,000. So we get half the number that we need in order to replenish the ranks of the ones who have left that field, that industry, that profession. Okay. And if we're at a 40,000 person per year deficit consistently, this is the end result. Longer wait times in the weeks. I'll tell you, when Valvoline did their service on my Murano and left my transmission short by several quarts and destroyed the transmission essentially, I had to wait a month roughly before I got my vehicle back, my Murano. And Valvoline, nothing but good things to say about them. People make mistakes. All, it's not limited to Valvoline or to Tires Plus or Firestone or any, or even automotive. People make mistakes all the time. It's going to happen. But it's how you handle it that matters. And they handled it like professionals. They didn't try to skirt around or try to, put blame on you. No. They took care of it. They took it to their own independent shops. They assessed whether or not it was a pre-existing condition, which it wasn't, and they put a brand new transmission in it. About a month. About a month I was out of that vehicle. And, like I said, I had the backup vehicle with the Escalade, but not everybody has that luxury. And once again, the reason isn't because there wasn't a CVT transmission available. It's that they didn't have the help to be able to do the job in a quicker amount of time. So it wasn't a supply chain shortage. It was a people shortage. And it's the same in every industry. I'll give you a great example. Right now, if you're buying tools, and let's say you're out here at Cliptus, and you're out there, you're buying the new rigid stuff right here. You get the new rigid impact, the brushless, the Gen 2 of the Stealth Force, the Nuke. All right. Let's say that you go and you want to go to Home Depot and you want to grab one of these. These were supposed to be released a week ago. All right. Last Tuesday. They are still unpacking product to put out along with the POP and everything for this promotion, for this launch. And it's going horrible. It's going awful because you can walk into a Home Depot. I could walk into mine and the inventory's off. The displays aren't up. If I were TTI or Emerson, whoever, or Rigid, or a combination of whatever you want to call them, I'd be screaming, pissed off, mad. But then I would stop and I would realize that shit, it's not their fault. They don't have the staff. They don't have the help. And if you weren't aware of this, when you go into the Home Depot, and I don't go into the Home Depot very often personally anymore because I can order shit online because this whole walking thing, but I'll go in there and I got the scooter. I could scoot my ass around. And that's what I do. So, but what you got there are old people. Not old like me, but I mean like old people, like retirees that are coming back out into the workforce because they need extra funds because they're not able to survive off whatever they had. People have burned through their savings, their 401ks, their pensions, their everything. All their expendable income has gone away. It's, it's sad. This is America. Wealth and abundance for all. Bring me your tired, you're weak, you're weary, you're sick, you're huddled masses. What happened to that? Where did that go? Where did a nation based on Judeo Christian principles lose its way? Private equity firms, that'd be one. Greed, natural. For humans, our species has always been greedy. We have a tendency to want what the other person has, and then if we get it, eh, whatever. But if you ask me, it's all strategic. It's based on trying to, you can call it survival of the fittest, only the strong survive. You know, maybe it's a modern form of eugenics. I don't know. If you can't sustain yourself because you don't have food or water or a means to get it, I don't know how you're going to live. But I do know that people who are in a desperate situation will do whatever the fuck it takes to get what they have to have. I promise you, that will not stop them. If that means the law, it ain't gonna matter. I promise you. If my kids and or my wife or anybody, I'm looking at them, they're starving, looking like they're straight from a concentration camp. I'm doing what I'm gonna rob this fucking grocery store. I'm doing whatever I gotta do. Is it the right thing to do? I don't know. My moral compass is a little different than others. I'm more of a Robin Hood type individual, but I'm not a crook like that. I, I would steal from the rich before I would steal from the poor. Versus the exact opposite of what our government here does. Eliminated the middle class after you ran this country on the backs of them. It's tough. I want, it's tough to go to work not feeling appreciated, not feeling wanted, not making enough money. I got friends right now that are younger than me. As an example, they've been married for a few years. They already got 2 kids still in diapers. And no, I'm not talking about my brother, who I think is done having babies at this point and realizes the motherfuckers are expensive. Anyway, so both of them been married now, got a couple kids, both of these kids still in diapers. And what you got is both parents work 2 jobs. So that's 4 jobs, 2 people doing it, and they still can't get caught up. Are kids expensive? Absolutely, kids are expensive. Until you have your own, you don't realize just how expensive those children are and how much it costs to raise a child. Don't even get me started on daycare, childcare, formula, diapers, sleepless nights, waking up, having to, feed them and change their shit-ridden diapers. And I mean, there's a lot that goes on with kids. That's a whole nother job within itself. That's a job that never ends because no matter how old you get, no matter how old your kids get, they're always going to be your kids. So that's just the way it is. And I wouldn't have ever thought that'd be the case until I had my own children and realized, holy shit, it's really the way it is. And like I would tell any other individual, if you've got things that you want to get done, that you want to, do, like if you want to climb Mount Everest, or you want to, you want to go and you want to, hike the Appalachian Trail or the Pacific Crest Trail, or, whatever, you want to go to Tijuana and see a donkey show, just whatever it is, do it before you have kids. Otherwise, you probably won't have a chance. You're probably going to be stuck watching kids, doing kid shit. Yeah. Real talk. So yeah. I feel bad for people. I really do, because I can see and feel the struggle and the pain that they're going through. And, I can wish and hope all I want. That doesn't change anything, unfortunately. What I would like to do is see individuals that are in a position of power that can actually do something to help do that. And I don't see anybody stepping up to doing it. Not, you know, I voted for Trump, voted for him 3 times. Do I blame Trump for the situation currently? No, I don't. It's a culmination of decades and generations of mismanagement, bad policy, poor decision making, poor leadership, and it always culminates down to who's in charge. Who's in charge now? It's on them. Always. Eh, heavy is the head that wears the crown, as they say, right? Clip that. But you got to understand that when you are constantly engaged in conflict throughout the world, and that generates industry, which obviously makes money, it's kind of hard to stop that cycle. And that's where we've been for as long as anybody living right now has ever seen. You have known nothing but constant conflicts and wars. That shit gets so old. It does. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just being honest with you. I don't want to see people over here trying to fucking scrounge up, $5 to put a gallon of fucking gas in their vehicles so they can get to a job that doesn't pay them shit, so they can not make enough and end up nowhere. It just doesn't. We're going backwards. Shit, they thought we'd have flying cars in 2000. Fuck. We're not even close. We got shittier cars now than we did 26 years ago. I promise you. These cars they're coming out with nowadays, they're not going to make it 20 years. They're not going to last 20 years. You're not going to get 200,000 miles out of these new vehicles. You fucking out of your mind. Fucking barely get 10,000 out of one of these pieces of shit that are coming off the line now before they fucking grenade themselves. And you know why? Because everyone likes to cut costs at the expense of the consumer, of course. And then there's the technician. A technician is one of the only few positions or trades or jobs or skills or crafts that I could think of that you have to know a considerable amount of information and knowledge, which, like I said, all these kids from these universities or getting out of trade school or Votech or wherever, been turning a wrench in their driveway, whatever they've been doing, they might have, they might know a little bit, but they don't have experience. They don't have experience. You don't have experience, you don't have knowledge. You might know a couple of things, but that doesn't make a difference. And a lot of it in this day and age, it's intimidating because you look at something and you feel like it's beyond your scope or beyond your capabilities, and it's not. You're just letting something intimidate you because you don't know why. Get in there, tear that motherfucker apart, figure it out, fix it, and get it out of here. That's it. Just like that. But a mechanic, it's one of the trades, like I said, it's like a car doctor, but instead of like a real doctor, like, you go to medical school, you get your residency, you get all that done. Now you got your chance to be a doctor, an MD, you got to bring your own stethoscope. What are they going to ask you to bring your own x-ray machine, bring your own MRI machine? What the fuck? No, the hospital, the facility provides that shit. Fucking retarded. Mechanic? No. Everything's on the mechanic. Tools, that's on the mechanic. Everything's on the mechanic. Everything's on the mechanic. and the mechanic gets treated like absolute dog shit. But without that mechanic, your ass would be stuck at home with a broke down car that even if you could afford to fix it, you don't understand what it entails and how difficult it truly is. You think it's like a diagnostic scanner is like some kind of fucking magical fucking device that'll tell you what the problem is and how to fix it, and it doesn't work that way. It's just a tool designed to give you an idea of what the problem is. You get a fault code, that fault code can go to multiple different things, caused by multiple different things. Something as simple as a little chafed wire or a bad ground on the body to a bad computer. Who fucking knows what it is? But it takes time to diagnose this. And like I said, not everybody is that type of individual. Not everybody has the time or the experience or the know-how, the knowledge to look at data, read it, comprehend it, understand it, and then be able to isolate where there's an issue and then fix it. If it can be fixed. Not everything can be fixed. Most things can, but not everything. Some things aren't designed to be fixed. That's where you have your duty cycle. What am I talking about? Everything has a duty cycle. Everything has a duty cycle. You can call it a duty cycle. You can call it a lifespan. I don't care what you call it. But if we're talking technical talk and we're talking about machinery, equipment, tools, everything has a duty cycle. So eventually everything will fail, including your car, including your body, including yourself. At one point in time or another, you will no longer be here either. And that's okay. Don't be scared. You're going to be fine as long as you follow the 10 Commandments. Otherwise, you're going to piss off Old Testament God, and then you're going to be fucked. Clip that. Why do you cuss so much, Max? Cuss if I want to cuss. I don't always cuss, but if I feel like I want to cuss, yeah, just do it. Don't hold back. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be disingenuous. Be genuine. You know, if you're relatable to other individuals, then you're relatable. If you're not, you're not. People like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't.
I'm one of the baddest motherfuckers of all time. One of the best singers, one of the best looking motherfuckers you've ever seen. Hold my drink, bitch.
That's right. And don't you forget it. I love interjecting those old school ones. I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, we can always do that. We can always have a bunch of them. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna fuck you till you die.
What?
The way it is. That's just the way life treats you. But yeah, buy your own tools. Buy a fucking toolbox. Get into debt right off the fucking bat when you're a young man, and then go into an industry that doesn't appreciate you, doesn't value your hard work or your commitment. Rather, they will use you up and throw you out as soon as you are wore out. And it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have. Why? It's simple. Because if they can find somebody to do your job, regardless of how fucking long you've been there, how much you know, how much you fixed, how efficient you are, they want to find somebody that's going to be able to do that. Maybe not as good, maybe not as fast, maybe not as efficient, but they'll do it for less money. And that's what matters. Kind of like the Ford Pinto. Another great example. If you don't know the story of the Ford Pinto, I made a short about it last week. Ford knew about the cost and the risks associated with the placement of the fuel tank of the Ford Pinto right behind the rear axle. And there were a confirmed 27 fatalities. There are numbers that go into the hundreds, some even more, of unconfirmed fatalities due to that one engineering design flaw to push something out to market that wasn't ready. And then when you have the opportunity to fix it before it does any damage or cost any lives for $11, you decide to say, fuck it. It's going to be cheaper to pay out the cost of people dying from these cars basically exploding and catching fire than it is to fix the cars for an additional $11. So your life wasn't even worth $11 back then. Yeah. You try to push out a product to market so quickly to compete with the more fuel efficient, more fuel friendly Japanese vehicles that are making their way into the market at this point in time. And that's exactly what happened. They learned their lesson kind of ish from the two fuel embargoes in the 70s. But still, here we are today. I remember gas was 99 cents. 99 motherfucking cents. I remember when it was still leaded. That shit was leaded till 96? Fuck. Where are we going? What are we doing? What is the plan? Who is running this fucking shit show that I'm living in along with everybody else here struggling? You don't think I'm struggling? Fuck. We all struggle in our own way. And I can empathize with all of you, which is not something that I think people truly grasp, because I could tell you what it feels like to be tired, and you could relate to that. I could tell you what it's like to be hurt, and you could somewhat relate to that. So, in relative speaking terms, we can all relate to the fact that people, regardless of where they are in their socioeconomic class, whatever their tax bracket is, etc., wherever they're demographically located, and whatever their demographic is in their specific demographic, it doesn't matter. If we are advertising ourselves and pretending at this point to be the greatest country in the world, then we need to fucking act like it instead of acting like a bunch of fucking clowns that don't know what we're doing. And that's not a knock against Trump or anything in particular. It's just the truth. This is fucking ridiculous. We don't need any more wars. We don't need any more conflicts. We got more than enough here. But we don't take care of our own people. We got more people. The land of free got more people in prison and incarcerated than any other country in the world. We're number one in that. You know what else we're number one in? Literacy rate, 75%. What does that mean? I've said this so many fucking times, but it falls upon deaf ears. That means 1 out of every 4 people cannot fucking read. And out of the ones that can, that 75%, they are at a 6th grade level or lower. We have lowered the bar as far as what it takes in education. That's why I think the education system has failed completely. It's designed to teach you to be a fucking consumer and just basically a useful idiot, and useful enough just to do enough to make yourself, like I said, a useful idiot. You're making somebody else money your entire life, work until you're fucking old as shit, and then what? What? You get to retire when you're old and you got fucking nothing? That's what a lot of people are going through right now. And a lot of you younger generation that are coming out on the social media right now and talking shit that don't even know what it's like to struggle. And I'm not talking about everybody. There's some cats out there that are genuine and authentic that know what the fuck I'm talking about and can relate to it, because listen, when the economic crisis of 2008 happened, I was just working, obviously, still in business in Independence, Missouri, which demographically, I don't know if it's still the meth capital of the United States, but it held that title for a very long time, and I'm sure there's still plenty of meth in Independence. I have no doubt about that. But made it through. We had that good year, me, my father, and I, and we made it through the worst economic time that we've seen in our lifetime since the Great Depression, all right? Or since Black Monday. Not a racial thing. And if you don't know what Black Monday is, I can do a separate episode on that and go explain that to you. But what happened in 2008, people lost their entire livelihoods, houses, their everything. And it was done on purpose by poor decision making without any real oversight or regulation. You make poor decisions by giving individuals funds that they cannot pay back. You give people houses that they cannot afford to live in. You're allowing people to get vehicles and car loans on vehicles they cannot afford to drive, maintain, and service. Why? Just so you can make some fucking money? Money's that important? Money is really that fucking important? No, no, no. And that's what just I don't understand. You think that somehow money equals happiness, or money equals status, or money equals this, or money equals that. That's not how it is, or at least that's not how it should be. Meritology, things should be based on merit. If you got money, great. That means you should be able to help out more because somebody else, many somebody else's, aren't in that same situation. Well, it's my money. I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. I don't have to help anybody. And that's right. You're absolutely right. You can be a greedy piece of shit, not help anybody out, and watch the world around you burn and crumble before your eyes, and you got money, and you're okay. Clip that. Everybody else is shit. Fucking looks like a fucking wasteland. Looks like Burning Man, basically. It's nothing against Burning Man or the burners. I got no issue with any of that. But yeah, it looks like a wasteland. It looks like fucking Thunderdome over here, like a Mad Max movie, like fucking Furiosa and Dementus is fucking King of the Wasteland. Oh my God. I just don't understand. Minimum wage. We haven't had a fucking minimum wage increase for since what, 2009? Was that what the last one was? Right after, yeah, I want to say about 2009. So it's been a little while. You know what I'm saying? Like 17 years. It's, you know, kind of a big deal, but nothing has been done to offset the rising costs of living, inflation. And our own president, which is disappointing, hasn't done anything in way of trying to relieve any of this additional stress that has burdened the American taxpayer to try to help, whether it be a stimulus or whether it be, you know, allowing our own reserves to be put out there so people can afford maybe to take their kids to the movie, or maybe to go to maybe an amusement park, or go to the zoo, or maybe take a weekend and go to the lake and go camping or something. But all these things, they cost money, and the money isn't there because greedy corporations, private equity firms, and just greedy individuals don't care about the people. We're more concerned about data centers, like that Kevin O'Leary fuck that wants to build this giant fucking data center in Utah that's going to end up costing them more in energy. It's a bad idea. And these data centers, I don't trust them. But that's me. I also don't trust the fucking government. So that's also me. I also don't trust the police. Also me. I don't trust judges. I don't trust fucking anybody. Trust God. Clip that. I can trust in the Lord. My trust is the Lord. And got all these fucking corrupt fucking demons, devils out here trying to bring other people down. Seeing the people homeless, people on the street in fucking 100-degree fucking heat, or freezing fucking winters. It's, man, after you've seen this shit for 50 fucking years and it hasn't changed and it hasn't gotten any better, it's a problem. It's a systematic problem. It's designed, like I said, to weed out the weak from the strong, the haves from the have-nots, and it's going to come to a head, whether it's during the course of my lifetime or the next generation or the generation after. There's going to be a time where people decide they've had enough, and at that point, it's already going to be too late. It's already too late if you ask me. But believe it or not, I'm optimistic. I truly am. I'm blessed. I love my life as much as I hate it. I love the Lord. I love my family. And I'm blessed to be here. I don't know the other side, and I'm not in a big hurry to get there, with the exception of, after I got baptized, all my bad shit went away, as far as I'm concerned. So as long as I don't do any bad shit, I'm good. I'm good. And I remember after I got baptized, I didn't do this shit on purpose, but I didn't curse for years, a couple years, at least 2 or 3 years. I didn't curse once. And, then I cursed again. I don't know. It just happened. But I curse a whole lot less now than I used to. I used to be a lot angrier. Shit. You want to hear some stories? Fucking, I'll tell you a couple stories. I was working for a dealership, and let me tell you something. All right, real quick, before I tell any fucking stories. If the defense team's listening to this bullshit and you're trying to use it against me, fuck you. Because it has nothing to do with me getting injured or where I got injured or how I got injured. That's 100% on the fault of the fucking employer. And we all know who that is. So kill that shit. Cut it out. Anyway, I was working for a dealership. And the dealership I was working for, we served, small engines, tractors, zero-turn mowers. It was, ATVs, UTVs, Kawasaki mules, Polarises, just, anything small engine, power sport, power tool related, we did. I worked for 2 dealerships like that. And I truly loved doing that. However, didn't necessarily see things in the same business aspect as my bosses. And one time, my service manager, he had me. All right, let me back up. Customer brings in a old John Deere tractor. This thing was from the fucking 50s, I think. And he wanted to restore it completely. That's great. His father had passed away and he'd left it to him. His dad really loved it. And, it was something that reminds him of his dad. So he wanted to bring it back and he wanted, to restore it. So He brings it to our dealership. Now, we're a good dealership. We can fix things, we can do things like that, but we're not a restoration shop. We are not a restoration shop. Yeah, we can split tractors, we can fix things, we can do things like that. We can repair, we can replace, but we can't resurrect. All right. We can't do that. We can't do things that we can't do. We're not equipped here. We don't have fucking paint booths. We're not a restoration shop. Not to mention the fact that something as old as this, I don't even know what the availability of parts are, what it needs, or anything else. And he gave me this ticket and he said, split it. I said, well, why are we going to split it? He's like, the guy wants to restore it. He told me the story. I said, well, before I split it, shouldn't we make sure that we can get whatever we might need for it? Or, better idea, we could call just the John Deere dealership right down the street from us, who actually does restoration work on older antique type John Deeres, and just sublet it out to them. We're not going to make a fortune on it, even if we keep it here in house, because the amount of labor it takes, the amount of time it takes, how much parts are going to cost. The bigger the job in some cases, the less the profit. If your return on your investment, in this case being the work, doesn't add up, if you've got 60 hours that you're going to try to bill a customer at $120 an hour, that's a tough sell. And that's just labor. That doesn't include any parts, any paint, or anything else. So I pleaded with this fucking idiot to make sure that everyone is on the same page. If you wanted to keep it here, we can do the mechanical part as long as the parts are available. And then if you want to send it out and get it blasted while we have it apart, that would be the good time to do it. And then we get it put back together if you don't want to just send it out to somebody else. He didn't want to send it out to somebody else. So just tear it apart. Just do it. I'm like, all right. So you don't know if we can get parts. You know we can't do what, like Counts Customs or fucking, or West Coast Choppers or whatever the fuck that shit is. That's not this kind of place. We're not a custom shop here like that. We do some custom things, yes. We can do some things, yes. We can cut and fabricate things and make things, yes. But I can't forge. There's certain things just we're not capable of doing. We're not equipped for it. It's not what we do here. Anyway, it took me, and here's the other part of it. I have one bay that I work out of. I have a lift, and I've got approximately, let's call it a 20 by 20 area, including that lift that I work out of. I'm working on splitting this tractor, which, if you're familiar with the tractor, I don't remember which series it was. I really don't. But it was big enough to be a fucking tractor. And then I've got the fucking rail there for when you split it, and it comes apart, everything else. There's a short on it on my YouTube. You can find it and see me splitting this. There's another short at the same time. My rack is down, leaking hydraulic fluid, and I'm telling this fucking idiot that, hey, I need you to get this fucking lift fixed over here. I'm tired of cleaning up this hydraulic fluid, and I don't need this motherfucker leaking down on me if I'm working and I got something on here heavy enough that's just going to make it leak faster. So before you fucking kill me with your shit equipment, you get it taken care of. And we throw each other's shit back and forth, but it was, never malicious necessarily until this fucking John Deere, in my business sense versus his lack of business sense, and then the owner not really knowing what the fuck to do because he doesn't want to be in the business anymore anyway. So what happens? I split it. It took me a day. I got it done in a day. I get it. Told him it was done, and boom. Next day, come in. I'm like, all right, well, let's start looking for these parts. We're going to need da 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 da. I made a big list of everything. We're going to put a new starter in it. It looks like, we're going to have to send out, let's just send out the engine, let's send out everything, just get it all machined. If it can't be done, they're going to let us know at the machine shop. They're going to pressure test ahead. They're going to clean. They're going to do everything. Do this shit right. You're charging this guy a fucking shit ton of money and taking advantage of him because right now you might not be in the best place mentally after losing his father. So let's keep all this into consideration and take it all into account. But so he's looking for parts. He's looking for parts. A week goes by. I've got this fucking thing taking up space. I'm also still working on UTVs, mules, and Polarises, zero turns, the big Batwing mowers, zero turn mower Toros that you see that fold down, working on those. I'm working on Gators. I'm working on all kinds of things. I got this piece of shit in the way. Still haven't heard anything from him. I got it on the rail, the rack, and everything, and I can't do it anymore. I need the space. I'm not as efficient as I need to be. This thing's really bothering me. It's in the fucking way, and I'm moving outside. I told him I'm moving outside till he can figure out what to do with it. I'll cover it up with a tarp, and, because it was October, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't want to, I'm taking care of it. Everything is accounted for and taken care of. I didn't take this guy's tractor apart and then just leave it to die. But I got it out of the way. I needed the space. I did it nice, didn't break anything. I didn't break anything when I was tearing it apart. Nothing like that. This old rusted piece of shit. Now, about a week goes by, and I'm like, hey, Jeff. Oh, that was his name, Jeff. I'm like, hey, what's going on with the John Deere? You hear anything? Say, yeah. Gonna tell you. Go ahead and put it back together. We're gonna ship it out. We can't get the parts for it. But down there at the dealership, they can do it. So we're just gonna sublet it out. And I said, I didn't say anything actually. I grabbed my next ticket, went in, just went to work. Worked that whole day. No problem. Didn't care. Didn't care. I was like, I'm not going to let it ruin my day. This asshole still hasn't fixed my lift yet. I got work to do. Just not going to let this fucking bother me. But it did bother me. And it bothered me all day. And at the end of the day, I clock out. Clock out a little bit early. Get cleaned up, my normal stuff. Check all the doors, clean everything. Make sure everything's locked, yada, yada, yada. And I walk into the owner's office where the owner is and where the service manager is. I'm off the clock at this point in time. I'm just a private person, I'm just a private citizen at this point. Yeah, I might be an employee, but I'm not on the clock. I go in there and I tell the owner, I said, Carrie, Jeff literally has dog shit for brains. Like literally, if you were to crack this motherfucker's skull open right now, you would have a big clump of dog shit. That's how stupid this motherfucker is for having me tear apart a fucking tractor that you can't get fucking parts for. Now you're asking me to put the fucking thing back together to send it to the same place that I told you to take it to the first time. You know who does that? People with dog shit for brains. So we had a mutual parting of ways after that. I came in the next day. I didn't give a shit. Ready to work. And Gary, the owner, calls me in his office and, always had a good relationship with him. But he, not a big backbone. Kind of a pussy. Nice guy, but fucking pussy. So what happens? He says, "Look, I don't think you're happy." Well, you don't think so? Why? Because you had me doing stupid shit from a dumb motherfucker that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing and shouldn't be in the position he's in the first place? You think? Like, well, I think you know what this means. I'm like, no, I don't know what this means. You're going to have to tell me what this means, Carrie. Always make sure that you get them to say it. And, I'm like, don't beat around the bush. What's up? What do you got? What's going on? So, I'm going to have to let you go. I'm like, all right, so what are you saying? Are you saying I'm fired? He's like, yeah. I say, well, tell me I'm fired. He's like, you're fired. All right, thank you. And I had the rest of the day off, which was nice because, fuck, it was nice to have a day off. I think it was like a Thursday anyway, so whatever. But yeah, I not the first time I bumped heads with a motherfucker either. The other dealership I worked at, and mind you, I was at this dealership for I don't know, a year. Then the other dealership I was at, also small engine. We serviced everything similar to this one, but this one we did a little bit differently because we carried more brands, so we had to fuck with more shit. We did Ego, we serviced Steel, we serviced Flex, or not Flex. Hell's it called? Greenworks. We had all these. I mean, we did it all, and it was fine. Worked with good people, but I had another shitty service manager, and he was just an angry dick. And ironically, his name was Richard. I just called him fucking dick. And he didn't like me from the get go. Whatever. It happens. If you got two strong personalities, a lot of times those individuals will either gel and be just fine, or one will try to outman the other, and whatever. You're not pushing me around. No one's pushing me around. Fuck that shit. So it was on a Friday. I pulled in a Honda HRX that a customer had worked on, and he'd broken off one of the bolts right there in the worst place you could possibly break off a fucking bolt. And it was broke off deep enough right there to where it mounts to the engine and where it sits on the plate of the housing. So it's almost like he broke it inside the head on the outside portion. But you needed to fix it because the engine mounted to the mower is not stable. So when you turn this thing on, it goes fucking. Anyway, so 30 minutes till the end of the day, I pulled this thing in, and Richard walks by. He's like, "What do you got?" I was like, "It's that one with I'm looking at a ticket, broken bolt, diag on it." It's all right. That's how he talks, fucking asshole. Anyway, I look at it, and I'm like, all right, gonna have to extract it out, all this, and based on where it's at and how it is, I'll go ahead and pull it, separate it from the body of the mower, pull this little engine out, and safely drill it out and extract it. Well, about 5 minutes passed since Richard walked by me, and I'm putting my plan together. I've seen it. I've diagnosed it now, and we're charging the customer $120 to diagnose this fucking mower with a broken bolt that we already know is broken, and he knows broken. But we're still charging him $120. Whatever. And that's kind of where I'm, if you're not going to do shit right, then don't do it. Just don't fucking do it. Leave it alone. If you're not going to do it right, don't do the customer a disservice and just leave his shit alone. And don't fuck his shit up.
Nate, how those chicken strips?
Fuck your chicken strips!
Go.
Fuck your chicken strips!
Yeah, fucking chicken strips. But anyway, 5 minutes walk by. He walked down to the other side of the shop, talked to one of the other techs, and he walks back by me. He's like, well, what's going on with it? I'm like, oh, it's got a broken bolt, so I'm thinking that I go ahead, remove the engine from the rest of this so I have easier, better access, and I'll get that bolt drilled, drilled and extracted out, get everything retapped, put a new bolt in, we'll be good. He's like, all right, we're going to get it done. We're down to 20 minutes left in the day now. Okay. I'm like, all right, I'll start on it. No big deal. 5 more minutes goes by. This guy walks by me again. He's like, you haven't got it started yet? I'm like, I am starting on it. I got it. Yeah, I've started on it, Richard. I don't understand. He's like, well, is your drill broken? I'm like, no, Richard, my drill's not my drill's not broken, Richard. So what's the problem? I'm like, there's no problem, sir. I got this mower in 10 minutes ago. I diagnosed it. Now I'm putting together an estimate. You said, or according to the note, whoever wrote this up, and I'm guessing it's you since your name's on the ticket, that extract, fix, bolt. And that's what it says to do, so that's what I'm going to do. He's like, well, what's taking you so long? Like, I don't know that it's taken me long, sir. I'm like, what do you want from me? You're asking me about drills and what's taking so long? You having a bad Friday afternoon, or what's going on? He said, get your drill out and start working on that fucking bolt. I said, whoa. You need to chill out and just slow your fucking roll. I understand you're my boss, but listen, man, I don't know why you're coming at me all sideways like this, but I want to fix this, and I want to fix it right. And we got 20 minutes left in the day. I'm not going to rush through it. We're open tomorrow. My plan is to have it pulled, have it ready, and then tomorrow I'm going to come in and I'm going to drill it out, extract it, tap it, and call it good. Put a new bolt, and we're done. Customer's happy. It shouldn't even go more than that $120 labor time, to be honest with you. He's like, don't you tell me how to do the labor time. And you should just have started that today. You would have had it done. We would have got paid for it. And he just starts fucking with me. I'm like, listen, I don't know. I was just going to come in tomorrow and finish it. All the other guys are just watching me and Richard going back and forth on this exchange of stupidity. And I'm like, Richard, there's 10 minutes left of the day. I need to still clean everything up and get ready. He's like, you know what? Don't bother coming back tomorrow. I said, what? He's like, you're done. I said, what? He's like, get out of here. I said, all right, well, if you're telling me I'm fired, then you're going to tell me I'm fired. You never told me I was fired. Never told me I was fired. You did not fire me. I get a call from the owner the next day, and he says, listen, I talked to the guys that were around, and they told me kind of the story of what happened, and I don't know that you did anything wrong. I think that it was just the perfect storm of someone being in a bad mood, and that being Richard, and you just happened to be the one that he decided to go after. I said, all right, I get it. That's fine. I don't have anything against him. Shit happens. People, in this industry, you got to have a short-term memory. Otherwise, you're not going to survive. So he says, just come in on Monday. And, the guys said, and from what I've seen over the last, I think I'd been there for 5, 6 months at that point. Never missed a day, efficient, everything else. So no problems. And I come back that Monday, and I would have figured somebody would have done that engine already. Nope, they left it for me. And I did it. It took me about 25, 30 minutes to do it all right, put everything back together, and no engine flying out of there. So that got done. But based on that exchange and that interaction and how I felt mistreated and, disrespected, I went ahead and put my notice in and bounced just like that. Just like if you don't like the state that you live, go to another state. You don't like, I don't like Kansas. I want to move to Missouri. I'll move to fucking Missouri. If I don't like Missouri, I want to move to Colorado. I'll go to Colorado. I don't like Colorado. Too much fucking snow, too many mountains. I'll go to California. No, I won't go to California. I'll go to Florida. I don't like Florida because there's too many fucking old people. Too much fucking rain every day for 20 minutes. I'll fucking move back to Georgia or Carolina, north or south, either way. But yeah, tough out there sometimes, and you got to deal with the assholes. Your job is difficult enough already, especially if you're working, blue collar, getting dirty, using your hands. I don't need some asshole giving me shit. The job is difficult enough as is. I don't need you to sit here and fuck with me about anything at any point in time. I know what I'm doing. I'm not asking you for assistance. I didn't call you over here to get your input on anything. You just, stay in your fucking lane. I'm going to stay in mine. I'm going to keep fixing shit and nothing comes back. So that's all I have. I mean, that's it. But yeah, I left there. I left. And this was still during COVID. Luckily, they weren't making us wear masks or any dumb shit like that. So I wanted to work. I still wanted to work. And then what did I do? I worked for Harbor Freight for a little while until they started getting fucking ridiculous. Clip this. Yeah, when I was working for Harbor Freight during the pandemic, when I started, there was no mask mandate, nothing. Then they had a mask mandate. I'm like, hey, man, I'm not doing this mask shit. But I'll see what I can do. I'll work around and put it down here, because if I start fogging up and I can't see the button on the fucking cash register, I can't see what I'm doing, that's going to be a problem. It doesn't matter what anti-fog bullshit you got. It makes no difference. It's just not going to work. And the mask thing was the deal breaker, but I still got good relations with people at Harbor Freight. I've had good relations with people from Harbor Freight for years. I'm not saying anything bad about them or their tools. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody or anybody's tools, because that's a mistake, unless you buy fucking tools at the Flying J. But even then, they'll serve a fucking purpose. If you need to get by and there's no other alternative, fuck it. Do what you got to do. Improvise. Yeah, it's wild. Fucking package of bologna's $10, gallon of gas is $5. Fucking crazy. I don't know. People are doing it somehow. Maybe for now, but I don't think that long term it's not gonna. It's not a sustainable. It's not sustainable. It's just a matter of time. Matter of time. And when the shit hits the fan, I hope everybody's ready for it. I hope it doesn't come to that, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and be delusional and lie to myself, you, or anybody else and be like, yeah, everything's fine. Don't worry about it. It's just some bullshit. Yeah, it'll pass. No. Much more than that. At this point, it's gotten so far out of control. that there's it's like a crash test dummy. We're gonna hit the fucking wall. It's just a matter of how much damage we're gonna cause. Clip that. So it's tough. I feel that, right now America is probably at its weakest. I mean that I haven't seen shit like this ever before in my life, and I don't know what a good path would be to get us out of this shithole and this shit mess that we're in.
You better quit playing with me. Rawr.
Right back at you, Skank. But I don't know. I just don't know. If I had the answers, I would share them with you. I don't know. Maybe we can all brainstorm together and come up with something to help one another out, It's kind of like the social media shit. How many people are interacting? None. Not as I got a couple of people watching, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. And, I hope you like it enough to where I've earned your viewership and I can continue to keep it. And that's what I intend to do. And if this YouTube social media doesn't work out, it's okay. Doesn't bother me. It's all right. Because I'm still going to continue to chronicle what I do, what I like, what I think, what I have to say. Because as much as you may not realize, somebody needs to hear it. And somebody is going to listen. And somebody is going to be able to resonate with what I'm saying. And it's going to resonate with them. And they'll realize that, you know what? We're just fanning the flames of this fire that's never ending. It's like Centralia has engulfed the entire United States, and not so much the world on fire. It's always been on fire, but the United States has just gotten to be. It's not unlivable, but it's unaffordable. You cannot survive on a minimum wage that is equivalent to what a gallon of gas is going to cost you after your taxes are taken out for working an hour. How are you going to live and survive? How are you going to be able to afford a housing? How are you going to afford a vehicle? How are you going to have a fucking savings? How are you going to do any of this shit? Nobody has answers. Everybody's got questions, though. No solutions. Everybody wants to be a fucking chief. No Indians. And that's not, anything against Native Americans. That's just whatever. I know. Excuse me. Working together. Something that we hadn't done in a long time. Something that has escaped this country. The work ethic, the foundation, the groundwork that was laid by the generations before mine and before those is it's almost meaningless. And that's sad because this country was built off hard work, off blood, sweat, and tears of people working together to accomplish a common goal. And now, where have we landed? What have we become? Where are we headed? What is the course correction that needs to happen? First off, maybe isolationism is a little extreme, but taking care of our own here first is something that I think has fallen to the wayside long ago. It needs to be brought back because if you don't care enough about your own people and your own population, that in itself is telling of how little you value the people living in your country. How in we're not at this point, we're not invaluable. We're all just dispensable, replaceable. Like we are like batteries. Once we run out of charge, that's it. You know, we're done. And then, the idea was you work hard all your life, you get to a certain point, and you're supposed to be set up, right? That was the American dream that was sold to us, to our generation at least. My generation, they pushed college, 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 go to college. You need college, you gotta go to college, do college. You're never gonna have a good job if you don't go to college. If you don't go to college, you're never gonna get a good job. Okay, I know plenty of people who went to college and nothing, nothing. It was just a big lie. You know what college did to a lot of people? Not everybody, but a lot of people. Put them in debt. Put them in debt. I believe that I'd have to double check on the figures, but on the top of my head, I want to say that it's less than 10% of jobs in the United States require an education that is any more than a high school diploma or the equivalent, i.e., a GED. Clip that. So, college is basically a way to funnel monies that you don't have yet before you have a job in order to earn. You're already kind of like being a mechanic. You're already starting in the hole. You're already in the red. It's not the one. It's not the way to go. All right. College is expensive, and sometimes it takes people a little bit of time to realize that they just made a huge mistake by throwing away so much money on something they may not have needed in the first place to pursue whatever career choice and career goals that they ended up, a couple years down the road, decided that they really had a passion for. Another part of it is the fact that we're pushing kids to go to college, and that's good, whatever, that's fine. But pushing them into doing something that they aren't fully committed to or aren't completely certain that they want to do, who's benefiting from that? Nobody, except for the people making the money. Now, that's not to say that there aren't individuals out there at a younger age that aren't already dead set on what they want for their career. That there's plenty of people out there like that. I was like that. And it's, there's people out there, they're dead set on, they want to be a doctor. They want to be in the military. They want to, they want to be a mechanic. They want to be a carpenter. They want to be they want to be a mason. They want to be, they want to go work in the tech field. It doesn't make any difference. Some of those younger people, they have foresight and can understand the gravity of what the future holds for them by making good decisions now and being able to commit. You got to be able to commit. If not, you're just wasting time and throwing away money. But in most cases, from what I've seen, A lot of people at 16, 17, 18 years old, they don't know what they want to do. One reason is they're still developing the brain. We don't stop developing until at least 25. Interests change, things change. You might decide you like something else. That's okay. So, pressuring younger individuals into making a lifelong commitment to something that they don't know anything about may or may not be the right way to address things. And not everybody learns the same way either. Some people are hands on, some people need to read a book, some people need to be shown. Everybody's different. Nobody's the same when it comes to that. There's people that have changed careers multiple times. And, they found something that they enjoy, that they're good at, they can make money, and they're happy. Ultimately, that's what everybody wants, to find something that makes them money, that puts food on their table, provide for their family, they enjoy doing, and they're good at it. That just sounds so simple. But it isn't. It isn't. There's a lesson to be learned in all these mistakes that we continue to make. And as we continue to make these same mistakes repeatedly and focus on ways to further alienate one another from one another. And when I say that, I'm not referring to other countries, I'm referring to just us here in the United States. We find reasons to dislike one another, and you need to cut that shit out. Put aside our petty differences and get to work to make America great. That's not about Trump. That's just something that we should all be doing. Why wouldn't we? We live here. Wouldn't it make more sense to take pride in where we live and what we do and how we are viewed by the rest of the world, especially when we're supposed to be that big pillar, that beacon of hope that others look to? We're not, at least not anymore. We need to bring manufacturing back. As much as that is going to hurt some feelings and probably ruffle some feathers of people that don't understand that manufacturing is the lifeblood of this country. It's the life force of this country. That's what made this country. And after having shipped everything away, and now having things made in Vietnam and Taiwan, in China, in India, in Mexico, that is not the answer. We need manufacturing jobs back here in the United States. And one big failure, Stanley Black and Decker, $90 million facility in Fort Worth, Texas, shuttered because of automation. The machines couldn't produce proper tools, proper sockets, proper hand tools, wrenches. So you shutter the whole plant down, and there it sits empty since 2023. Okay, why? You're telling me that you can't, we're talking 500 jobs or more, and because the machines are doing the job properly, you don't think that we can maybe take some money to put a plan together and get this plant operational and working? I just wasteful. Yeah, it's upsetting to me. I wanted to talk about some tools today as well, but it's just I'm tired of seeing people struggle. I want to be able to do more for people, and unfortunately, like-minded individuals, there's plenty of them. There's a lot of people out there, like being male, female, whatever, that want to help people genuinely, truly want to help people better themselves, put themselves in a better position help their families, be able to put food on the table, not have to worry, not have to worry about where their next meal is coming from or whether or not they're going to be able to survive until they get their check next week and make sure that the kids have what they need. And, you know, I've seen this go away, family vacations, because you can't afford it. Just things that should happen, things that aren't happening because we're too busy trying to make money because the things have gotten so expensive. Necessities have gotten so expensive. Food, water, groceries. And even then, what are we ingesting? Garbage. A lot of the stuff that we eat is shit. And we know it. Fast food, it's shit. I don't care if it's Chipotle or not. Chipotle isn't magic food that's gonna fucking, maybe you eat Chipotle once every couple weeks, once a month, something like that. All right. You eat Chipotle fucking 4 times, 5 times a week. Yeah, no. Another thing, we've gotten out of control with what we pay these fucking celebrities and these athletes. What the fuck are they doing with all this money? And why don't they contribute some of this money and put it back in to this country? Invest in America. Invest in America. Give back to America because America gave you everything that you fuckers have. And what do you give us? Shitty fucking movies, shitty fucking basketball season, shitty football season, so far, so baseball season. But ultimately, you're not worth the money that you fucking get paid. None of you on any sport, period. Don't care who you are. You're not worth it. You're just not worth it. What else is going on? Yeah. I watched any summer league basketball because basketball really upset me and kind of turned me off after all the bullshit. And like I said, it's sports entertainment. And if you don't realize that by now, I think that this whole LeBron James thing, the decision, the NBA can't put out a schedule until we know where fucking LeBron's going to go. Why the fuck do you care where this 41, 42-year-old man is going to fucking go? Who gives a shit? What does that have to do with anything? You think that he is the draw for the whole NBA? You don't think people come to see anybody else but this fucking washed up fucking old man? Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear this shit. Fucking worried about where this fucking asshole is going to decide to end his career or continue his career or whatever the fuck he's going to do. I can care less. I don't understand. That's somehow a hot topic. Where's LeBron going? We can't make the schedule until we find out where LeBron's going next Christmas Day. And blah, 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 blah. Who gives a flying fuck where the fuck he goes? It's just crazy. You got so many other unbelievable athletes in the NBA, so many young stars, and you're still focusing on a guy that's been there for fucking 24 fucking years and has underwhelmed the entire time. Clip that, my opinion. But that's me. That's me. I've been watching NBA for a while. Same with the NFL and MLB. And World Cup, congratulations to Spain. Good game, but all right. I'd like to have seen Argentina take it, but shit happens. What do you do? That's life. Let's see, we talked about sports. We talked about jobs. We talked about inflation. We talked about the cost of living. We talked about the minimum wage and how it hasn't fucking moved a fucking inch in 17 years. Whoever in the fucking right mind thinks that $7.25 or whatever the fucking shit is enough for anybody to survive on, that's fucking, you're out of your fucking mind. You make more than that panhandling in a day if you're lucky. That's nothing. $7.25. Fuck. That's crazy. And service industry workers, waitresses, waiters, you know, they make what, 213 an hour plus tips. But if their tips, let's say they work all day, they don't get any tips. They get 213 an hour. They will then be offset to that minimum wage by default if they make no tips. So they'll get 725 an hour for that whole day's work of waiting on people, bringing them their fucking drinks, their fucking ketchup, their extra napkins, their fucking ranch sauce, their fucking extra straw, their to-go box, an extra refill, all that bullshit. But there again, how many people can afford to go out and eat anymore? Not that many. I keep hearing people talking about we can't buy meat. We have to resort to fucking turkey and shit. Yeah, turkey's not bad. Chicken's not bad. As long as you can afford it. But I understand what you're saying. You don't need to eat shrimp and fucking steak and lobster every night. But you should be able to have it if you wanted it occasionally. It should be affordable. Shit. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Everything that is a necessity is completely out of your fucking price range. You don't even get me started on cars. Don't even fucking that's if you purchase a new car, my wife already knows this. You are purchasing negative equity. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Clip that. Every time you buy a new car, if you buy a new car, you are buying negative equity automatically. Boom, just like that. And then, for whatever reason, you try to roll that negative equity into another vehicle because you're upside down in this fucking car that you already bought. And I'm not using my wife as an example, but this is just the way it works. You get trapped in the system. If you can't make your fucking payment, guess what? You don't keep your fucking car. And cars are getting sophisticated enough to where you're not going to hide from the fucking repo man. They know where the fucking car is. Trust me. They got enough fucking sensors. They didn't forget to leave out the fucking one to locate your vehicle. Believe me. They've been able to do that since the early 90s. Trust me. As soon as they were able to monitor airbag deployments and frequency. So, yeah. They know where your fucking car is. Trust me. Even if your battery is dead, it will still be able to find your car. So whoever's fucking driveway or parking lot or parking garage or farm or barn or wherever you try to hide that shit, they will find it. They might not give a shit about it, but they know where it is. But cars aren't moving. Dealers aren't selling cars. Those fucking lots are packed full of cars. Why? Because when it's, $50,000 entry level car day or $80,000 entry level truck day, and you're getting a piece of shit that's not very, I don't feel very motivated to go spend that money on a piece of shit. I'd rather spend my money and get some from the early 2000s. Mid 2000s, that's still very easy to work on. Parts are available, it's reliable, and it's not going to cost me a fucking arm and a leg. And it's going to, it's lasted 20 years already. This motherfucker is going to last another 20. New cars? No. What's the worst? Shit. Stellantis and Ford. Pieces of shit. And then you got your Volkswagens, your Audis, your Mercedes, your VWs, your Land Rovers, your fucking Jaguars, Tata, which is the name of the company that owns Jaguar and Rover. They're located in India, and they build big old pieces of shit just like they always have. That hasn't changed and never will. So you think you're driving yourself a nice car if you got a Rover or a Jag? No. You're driving a big old piece of shit. Stellantis, same thing. I don't know what the fuck you engineers are doing over there, but stop. I can't think of one good car right now Ford truck that Stellantis has out since they've acquired Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. Ford. I don't even want to start on Ford. Ford's a fucking. I'll put it to you like this: GMs, Chevys, anything General Motors wise, as far as that goes, they'll keep you busy. Fords and Chryslers, they'll make you fucking rich. I'm telling you, they're pieces of shit. And when you go into your bigger trucks, your Class 8, your Peterbilt, your Kenworths, the exception of your old gliders or your, screaming Jimmies, you got plastic fucking engines that hold 14 fucking gallons of oil. Plastic everywhere. Plastic fucking oil pan. Plastic fucking just everything. It's shit. They're throwaways. You'd be lucky in most cases if you get 100,000 miles on an MX pack car engine. And, Detroit's, they don't make the screaming Jimmies anymore. Obviously, it was a 2-stroke diesel. But Detroit still has stuff out there, whether it's in Western Star or not. And you got Freightliner, you got Volvo, you got Kenworth, you got Peterbilt, you got Mack, you got plenty of large Class 8 manufacturers of vehicles. And, big vehicles equal big money, right? Right. Yeah. As long as you don't work for a company that has big money but doesn't invest in any type of employee safety or equipment to keep your employees safe from getting injured, from getting hurt, reminds me about the story of Raymond DeWalt. Yes, like DeWalt tools. And if you don't know the story of Raymond DeWalt, I'll tell you the story of Raymond DeWalt. Raymond DeWalt is the inventor of the radial arm saw or radial saw. Okay. And that was his claim to fame, Quiptus. So Raymond DeWalt was a superintendent and he cared about the safety and the health of his employees. And after having seen multiple people lose fingers from the equipment at the time, he went and he designed and made his own saw. So instead of you bringing the wood to the blade, you're bringing the blade to you on a fixed radial arm. And it rotated 360 degrees. You can make different kind of cuts, all kinds of stuff. Totally different label on it, totally different brand. But that is what Raymond DeWalt invented. And Raymond DeWalt, he, they made those radial arm saws for industry, for the military during World War II, etc. And then Raymond DeWalt was never a super wealthy man, and he never got a chance to see his brand develop into what it is now with the black and yellow. He never witnessed any of that. He never witnessed anything more than that radial arm saw that he invented. And 1928, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was. Was it 19 or was it 1949? Anyway, I had to double check the years. But when he passed away, they basically shuttered the DeWalt name. They kept the radial arm saw. And as technology, improved and advances in technology, the radial arm saw turned into a circ saw, turned into a table saw, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then what happened? Black & Decker, they ended up purchasing the DeWalt / radial arm saw from a company AMF who bought it originally. So from AMF, they bought Stanley Black and Decker bought DeWalt. They didn't care about the name; they just wanted the radial arm saw. So that's what they kept pushing. Then the '70s came, and primarily Makita started to come into the American market, and their products were far superior from anything that at the time the American toolmaker were putting out. And in particular, Black and Decker was the largest tool manufacturer in the world, and Makita obviously was not. But they came into the market in the '70s here, and in the '80s, what happened was Black and Decker totally lost the trust of the professional by going into consumer goods. I mean, ovens, dustbusters. It was looked at as a joke. You would get laughed off a job site if you came in with Black and Decker tools after what they did in the '80s. They essentially worked their own selves out of the game of heavy industry, and basically it just, it was a joke. It's still a joke because Black and Decker, I'm not going to say they're bad tools, I'm not going to say they're good tools, because if that's all you got, and you make it work. But the '80s killed Black and Decker. And then a individual who, what the hell is his name? Joseph, not Galil, but Joseph, was Italian guy, started with a G. Anyway, this guy, and there's another guy, Allington, started with an A. One was the big wig for Black and Decker. The other one was in charge of bringing something new out to market. And instead of bringing something new, he resurrected the DeWalt name. Literally, it was just sitting there in a cabinet, and he got the DeWalt name. He picked the colors, industrial working colors like you see on caution tape, black and red or black and yellow, like you see on, heavy equipment, black and yellow. Those are powerful colors. So black and yellow, and then he rebranded it DeWalt. And I remember seeing DeWalt trucks at Home Depots. I remember seeing DeWalt trucks go to job sites, go into construction sites, and give those tools away to see if people can kill them, to see if people can destroy them. And when they branded them DeWalt. They had nothing Black and Decker on them at all. And in the beginning of the '90s, in 1990, Black and Decker, from being the largest manufacturer of tools, only owned 9% of the market share. By the end of the decade, they were around 40%. So it's not so much that Makita fell off, it's that DeWalt started moving in the right direction because they had the right leadership. And I think it was Joseph Ghali. Joseph Ghali was the individual that led the campaign, that led the rebranding, wanted to have no affiliation with the Black and Decker name on the DeWalt label that just came out, even though it's been around already. So he resurrects the brand, and after that, all right, Joseph Ghali, this guy goes and works for Jeff Bezos in a small startup company named Amazon, and he was their first vice president. Okay. After that, he goes and he works for it was an internet company that worked as a, how do I explain it? I forgot the name. It was an internet company that worked as an internet go-between for other internet-based companies. And then, after being the CEO of that, he became the CEO of Rubbermaid. And then, after that, Joseph Galley went to TTI and stayed there for 19 years and retired in 2024. The same guy that helped resurrect the DeWalt brand is the same guy that put Milwaukee on the map and made them what they are today. Now, the cautionary tale part of this should be stick with what you know and build what you are supposed to build. Don't lose the trust of the consumer and the customer. If you know your customer is into construction, is into carpentry, is into masonry, is into automotive repair, is into equipment repair, whatever the case may be, small engine, makes no difference. Keep it that way. If you want to branch out into something else, then you're taking a chance. And that's what Black & Decker did in the 80s. It nearly cost them everything. And you could see a little bit of that, I don't think that going into the power tool market and not implementing some lawn and garden equipment tools is a bad idea. But when you start just, your Milwaukee lunchbox, electric lunchbox. I don't need an electric lunchbox. What the fuck? There's a microwave. Just shit like that you don't need. So don't make the same mistake that Black & Decker did in the 80s. Lose your customer by losing their trust and then abandoning your main product, your bread and butter, to be referred to as a brand that, lonely housewives buy and care about. So, cautionary tale. I'm just saying. And, right now you got TTI, you got Chevron, you got Stanley Black & Decker, you got Makita, you got Koki or High Koki, either way. Greenworks, also their separate company. And then not 100% sure as to who claims Hyper Tough, but after having taken apart and looked at what's inside, there's some Stanley Black & Decker and there's some Chevron that's very present. So interesting. Just some things that I found interesting. Another thing that I actually found a bit disappointing, and I'll get into this. I'm waiting for my fucking silent impact come in Japan still. I don't know why it's taking as long as it is, but then I'll be able to do a video that I've been looking forward to do while I'm still working in the garage. But one thing I will say is that the new Rigid, the Stealth Force, the Gen 2, it's hard to beat the original. And this is nothing like the original. And I don't mean that in a good way. You can make your own opinion about it. If you've never had a chance to use the original, hold the original, experience the original, then you probably think this thing is the best thing ever. I disagree. It's a nice tool. It works well, but it's nowhere near as well built, as well balanced as the original. It just isn't. It just isn't. At this point, We're trying to go compact, okay? But you got a battery that's as big as a fucking lunchbox on these compact tools. Clip that. All right. I got this lunchbox fucking battery on this compact tool. Nobody in any trade that requires using power tools has ever said, give me the biggest, heaviest fucking tool you got. Let me use that son of a bitch all day. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And this is only a 4 amp hour battery. And I wouldn't want to use this son of a bitch all day long. The old one, no problem. Even the grip and the ergonomics of it and some other things I could show you quality control missed on it. I mean, it's not lined up correctly. It's, the gaps to where you can get a lot of different debris. I mean, I'm not going to listen. It just came out. I think that, time will tell how well it does, but time will definitely tell you that after 10 years of using the original Stealth Force, I've never had to rebuild it. I've never had any issues with it. It's never let me down, and I could use that son of a bitch all day long. This fucking thing, time will tell, like I said. And this is what I think of compact. All right, look at the size of this fucking thing. All right, this is a lot smaller than the original. But when I think of compact, I think of something like this. This is compact. This is like so fucking lightweight. It's not even funny. But it's smooth. It's quiet. It's so bright. This is the triple hammer from Hoki or Hikoki or Hitachi or Metabo HPT or whatever you want to call them. This thing weighs nothing with a 2 amp hour multi-volt battery, 6 different speeds, a great light that you can turn on and off, super bright. Three LEDs on that one. And Koki's their own company also. Koki's been around, and they started out as a concrete drill company, and they've evolved. This thing, like I said, even without the 4 amp hour battery, this weighs as much as that tool does. That tool weighs less than just the bare tool with that battery. And then you got something like this over here. And I love Ridgid. I think they're great tools. Oh yeah, lifetime service agreement. Yes, they still have that. But you know what they don't have? That Hitachi does have? A lifetime tool warranty. What does that mean? As long as they produce this tool, they will fucking warranty it for life. And they've had this triple hammer for at least 10 years, maybe longer. It's just one of those things to where, depending on where you are in the world, you're either going to have Metabo HPT, Hitachi, Koki, and Metabo is still German. That hasn't changed. And Hitachi is still Japanese. That hasn't changed. And they're great. This thing, IP56, dust and water protection, built like a fucking tank. Is the most powerful? No, but it's probably the most consistent. And as far as, impacts go, impact drivers, impact wrenches, different story. And here, I got another one right here. Here's a Chevron product that I like a lot. Also, this is a 20 volt. Just fucking throwing this thing around. This thing doesn't weigh shit. This is a 20 volt 3/8 impact. Okay? Tiny. Watch this. Look at that fucking LED. This is the kind of LED I want when I'm working on something. Brushless, compact. Skill used to be an American company, of course. They have since been they've been, Bosch had them for a while. They've been around for a long time. The skill saw was the original nice control, even in full speed. And these, what, at 3 different speeds, on off for the light. LED, like I said, halo ring. It's beautiful. It's an excellent tool. That's what I feel as far as the ergonomics are concerned when it comes to these tools and what compact means and what it should allow you to be able to do. Because having a compact tool shouldn't mean that you have to have the fucking heaviest tool that you can find. That's crazy to me. These tools with weighing incredible, you know 4 or 5 pounds, whereas this, I'm not gonna weigh it tonight, but this might be 2.5 pounds with a battery tops, and the skill probably even less, and plenty of power, plenty of speed. I don't need the fastest. I don't need the strongest. I don't want the fastest, and I don't want the strongest. I don't give a shit what the box says. I don't care what the fucking specs say, and I don't care how many fucking screws and nails and ledger locks and timber locks and lag bolts and other bullshit some of these creators do their testing with. No, you get data over time, and I hate to be the one to break this to you, but before they bring tools to market, they do extensive testing, which is where we come up with that duty cycle, which we can attribute to known failure at a certain point in time. So you guys over here driving shit in the wood and doing shit, that's fine. That gets views, that gets clicks. Abusing tools, beating them up like that, go for it. Do that shit all you want. Go spec out some shit, whatever you want to do. I do what I do, and I do what matters the most. Price, effectiveness, dependability, longevity, reliability, especially, like I said. And when it comes to battery platforms, I can care fucking less how many battery platforms I have. I've got every fucking battery platform known to man at this point. Clip that. And I'm going to keep adding on to it. If I see something good that I like, I'm definitely going to get it. And I've had these apart plenty of times. They're very, very well built tools. Excellent tools. But yeah, like I said, I just see the bullshit so much, misleading advertising, marketing, influencers, and all this other shit. You don't know if fucking tool's good or not unless you fucking you know what? Go get yourself a fucking tub of nails, drive all those in. Do that every day for the next week, record it, and let me watch you do it. And then we have a little bit more data because you driving a few bullshit fasteners in here, some fucking screws, that tells me nothing. That's what the tool's supposed to do. All right. Anyway, I've had a fun time. I feel a lot better. I hope you guys feel better. I feel fucking good. That's what really ultimately matters. And ultimately, aside from me feeling good, you should feel good. Somebody needed to hear what I had to say. Some bodies need to hear what I had to say. Was I the most pleasant person tonight? Look, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But I'm being myself. And tonight, you got the super annoyed Max by what's going on in the world and how people are being mistreated and how nobody is doing anything about it other than talking about it. Stop fucking talking about it. Let's do some shit about it. Let's go. Anyway, I'd like to also work with some of you other creators to do a live. Let's get on and see what we can come up with. It'll be fun. It'll be interesting. And you know what? People might learn a thing or two. Other than that, that's all I got. I'm Mad Max with the facts. This is the Russian Tea Room. This is the Sofa King. Great variety show. And I'm out until the next one. God bless.